All right, good morning, class. Today we're going to be working with weights if you have. So these are the little tiny weights that I brought. I know last time I used my ankle weights, but I remembered to bring these. So again, it's not going to be anything too crazy, but we're also going to be using that when we do the 24 postures. So be prepared for that. Yeah. Other than that, we're just going to breeze through class, and I want to emphasize that if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask during class. Like, I know it's kind of difficult, this whole virtual thing, but it's important that you guys get your questions answered. So if you have questions, just chime in. And, if you're going to chime in, just please wait till an exercise is finished and then ask your question. That said, feet together, right fists, left palms, show courtesy. We're going to start off with our standing meditation. Today it's do your favorite. You can do the arms up, do the belly down, or the wave hands like clouds. Pick your favorite and begin. And we're going to move on to the Qigong. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Next one, breathe deep. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. Shake it out. All right, next stretch up. And down. Up. Down. Right side. Switch. Switch. And switch. Neck rotations. Other direction. And relax. Do the waving hands. Remember, breathe out as the hands go back. Go high. And shake it out. Hands up. Clench the fist. Wrist rotations in. Out. Shoulder rotations forward. back. Slap the kidneys. And chest for the heart and lungs. Center for the dantian. Hip rotations. Other direction. And now we move on to the grab the ball waist turning, something that I want to kind of keep an eye out for. When you do this, it's a lot less about moving your hands and a lot more about activating your core. So as opposed to just kind of doing this with your hands, move your body around because that's what's going to stimulate this. If you're just doing this, you're definitely warming up your shoulders, which is cool, but you're not getting the full benefit of the tension and the stretch that builds here. And it goes around to here and onto the other side. So remember, as you do this, it's not just the hands that go, it's the whole body. So now don't overdo it either, because it's not this either. So just try to keep in mind that yes, while it's still supposed to be activating the core, it's not an intense exercise. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Other direction. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Last one. Breathe in. And out. Shake it out. Hopefully you felt the difference if you haven't been doing it like that already. Feet together. Knee rotations. Other direction. Separate the feet. Knee rotations, inward circles. Outside. And straighten up. We do our ankles. Right side first, inside circles. Other way. And switch. Inside. Outside. And shake it out. And slap the left side. Switch. Legs. Lower back. Stomach washing. Top of the head. Warm up the hands. Massage the face. Forehead. Eyes. Nose. Mouth. neck, thyroid gland, kidneys, and shake it out. All right, so now we move on to the 8 brocades. So remember, in between 2 exercises, we're going to be doing some lightweight exercises, and then we're going to do 24 postures with the weights, which is going to be fun. It's going to mentally throw you off because you're not going to be used to having it unless you've already tried it. So, and something that I wanted to mention about this neutral standing position, sometimes students stand like this, and I don't know if you can really see the difference, but my knees are just kind of chilling, going inward. You need to try to keep your knees in line here as opposed to going in. This creates a more stable stance, I guess you could say. And this, from what I've been told, is not very good for your knees, even though some systems do this. However, in Tai Chi and Qigong, you want to keep this line straight, and always remember to keep the tail tucked. You don't want to overdo it to where you're leaning, but you don't want your pelvis rotated back. Keep it centered. All right. Number 1, holding up the sky. And remember to keep the emphasis on the breath down here, expanding and going back. Breathing in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. And out. Now, before we get into number 2, sometimes when I do exercises, Qigong exercises specifically, when we do the breath, I have a reputation for always being very slow when I do it, and there's a reason for that. To maximize the benefit you get out of this, you want to breathe in all the way. A lot of times what students will do, breathe in halfway and then just breathe out halfway, meaning they don't completely fill their lungs to where they feel a little bit of, I guess you could call it pressure on their lungs, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it. But when I breathe in until I can't, and then I exhale until I can't. Try to do the same. If not, get close to it Now, when we're meditating, it's a little bit difficult because when you breathe in and then you have to hold for a few seconds, you feel like you're going to pass out. And in that case, you don't want to do it. But in this case, the breath is constantly moving. You're breathing in and then breathing out right after, if not giving a second pause, which isn't that big deal. So as we do this, breathe in all the way and breathe out all the way. Some of you will be able to complete the exercise faster than others, and that's fine. But for you to maximize your own growth, you have to try to maximize your breath capacity. So again, that's also going to force you to work your stance more, because the longer you breathe in for or breathe out for, the longer you're going to be in the stance, which is always a good thing. Gets you stronger. All right. Number 2. And okay, last note. This is considered a perfect horse stance. 4 corners, square, flat. You should be able to put like a broomstick on your legs. Not everybody can do that, but that's fine. When you do it, you want to try to sit as low as you can. Now, it's difficult, especially if you're barefoot on tile, because your feet will want to slide. I could argue that's part of the challenge, but if you have knee problems, you probably don't want to do that type of challenge. So just go down until you know you're going to feel something, a burn of sorts, and your feet won't slide so much. If you notice, sometimes I'll do that. I won't go all the way down because my feet tend to slide, which I can stop, but I really don't like to strain too much when I'm doing Tai Chi or Qigong. All right, number 2. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. And shake it out. All right, so first exercise today. So sometimes I like to work from the top down. Sometimes I like to work from the bottom up. So with regard to our arm, we're going to work from the bottom up. So we've done this before. This is going to have a very similar effect to this. You're going to put your hands up and you're going to tense all the way and then tense all the way. So what you're doing is contracting this and contracting this. And actually, we're going to do it this way. So 1, 2. Now you're going to feel a tension in the forearm, and that's what you're supposed to feel. And there's the lazy way to do it and the more difficult way. Lazy way is to do it like this. Harder way is to do it like this, because this is going to activate your shoulders. This is just going to activate your forearm. And it's not lazy if you have injuries, but you know. So I'm going to do about 10, and then we're going to move on to something else. So when I say 1, it just means both of these. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now for our biceps, do the same thing we did last time, but I'm going to add something. So we did 1 last time, essentially just a curl, but we're going to do 2. We're going to do both hands this way and then both hands this way. So the hand position is this way, regular curl, and then up. So we're going to do 20 this time. So essentially we're going to be doing 40. Why? Because we're using light weights, we need to increase the reps. So we're going to do 10 one way, 10 the other, 10 one, 10 the other. Doing both hands at the same time, because why do one hand when you can do both? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to save the second set for the next set of weight exercises. So let's call that rep 1, and we'll go set 1, and we'll go into set 2 after we do 3 and 4. So 8 brocades number 3, pressing down and up for the stomach and the spleen. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. And the closing, breathe in. And out. All right. Number 4, looking back. Remember to open the eyes wide as you look back. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. Shake it out. All right. Pick up those weights. So, got to do a second rep. So, same story, regular curls, 10 reps each, and then we'll move on to our shoulders. So, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the hammer curls. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the next one, same story. We did this last time. We did it in stances. This time we're going to do it standing. Why? Doing it standing, it forces you to focus on the muscle group. If we're doing the stances, this is probably going to hurt a lot more than your arms. So focus on the muscle group as opposed to doing 1, 2 like last time. We're just going to stay straight and go out. So this is for the shoulders. Again, we're going to do 20 because I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3. And then next, after the next 2 ape rotates, we're going to repeat this one. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And put the weights down. Now, I know these exercises are not extraordinary. They're not abnormal. They're very typical. They work. That's the point. It doesn't have to be some, oh, well, in Tai Chi, we do all this and it strengthens your body. Yeah, that's cool. But at the end of the day, in Chinese martial arts, we're all about practicality. If doing this works, then we do it. So yes, it's not the most riveting exercises. It's not the most Tai Chi-esque exercise, but it works and it strengthens your body. And that's the most important thing. So when we do these, I know you're thinking, not Tai Chi. Well, maybe some of you aren't. Maybe some of you appreciate it. I don't know. But when we do these exercises, yes, I know they're not inherently fun. I personally don't like weightlifting, but there is value to it. So we do it. And it's definitely going to benefit you because, sure, the Tai Chi helps move your joints and gets them used to motion and all that stuff. But your muscles are connected to what? Your bones, your ligaments and tendons are all that stuff working together, connecting to your joints. It helps. Essentially, your muscle action has to activate your skeletal action. So it's important that we don't just focus on moving the joints and helping out the organs. We also need to strengthen the muscles, and not just the leg muscles, which we always do. The arm muscles and the abdominal muscles, which are a little bit more difficult to get, but we still need to work on them. So next exercise, number 8, number 5, wagging the tail. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Last one. In. And out. Next one, number 6, jolting back. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. All right. So now we're only going to do the set of this because I need to find an exercise that exercises the triceps because the only ones that I know require, well, I don't know if they actually require, I have to try it, but only ones that I know I've only done with like 25-pound weights. And I really don't know if doing it with these is going to do anything. So I need to look into exercises that activate your triceps that don't require heavy weight. So once I do that, we'll be able to better develop this portion of our training. Unless you want to figure it out on your own, and that's cool too. All right, so last set for the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And last little thing that I want to kind of explain is that a lot of times you'll see people do exercise and they'll just kind of like do this thing. Or if they're doing curls, they're like, yeah, I'm doing a lot of curls, right? Sure, that's all cool, no, awesome. But if you slow it down, the whole time you're going down, this muscle group is being activated, as opposed to just that. So when I do my reps like this, it's not because I like to move at a turtle's pace, but you get more benefit from it. And it has been suggested that using a lighter weight is a lot better than using heavier weight. Why? Because the heavier weights increases your risk of injury. So with a lighter weight, it might take more time because you have to increase your reps, but not only, even with a heavier weight, you're gonna go up and the weight's gonna bring you down. With a 2-pound weight, you have a lot more control over it. So you can feel each muscle action. And of course, it does take more time, but it's a lot safer and you have a lot more control over the exercise. All right, last two, number 7 and number 8. Number 7, staring at the fist with angry eyes. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. And the closing. Breathe in. And out. All right. Last one, number 8. Rising up with the heels to bring the energy to the crown. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. And shake it out. Let's see how much more time we have. We have 6 minutes. Well, maybe I just won't pay attention to stuff. Okay, so now's the fun part. So before we get started, something I wanted to say. I forgot, but homework. Just do some meditation after class and, your normal practice. But it is very important that we meditate, which is, so I need to follow my own advice because I really don't meditate as much as I should at home. But nonetheless, we need to do it. Keeps our minds clear, and it's one of those things that it's hard for me to explain the value of it because it differs for everybody. Some people have these weird spiritual experiences. I've never had any of those, but I have had they help me get through rough days, just to put it short. So meditation is very important. Just, you need to actually do it, which is advice for me because I don't meditate as much as I should. So 24 postures. We're not going to go through the whole form because we're doing it with weights. So we're going to stop about halfway, which is, I'll take it a little, to the grasping the bird's tail section. Once we finish that section, we'll reconvene, and then homework is going to be for you to either practice, meditate, and practice the form, as always. So the fun part about this is you do have to try to be in a meditative state while your arms are weighted and heavy down. So let's try it. It's your best to follow along. And at this point, let's put the weights down, and we're just going to finish the form without the weights, unless you want to actually continue to challenge yourself, which is awesome. So from here, just going to continue. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed class. And before we conclude, something I wanted to mention is that if you notice the class dynamic is shifting, that's because it is, as I've mentioned before. So why is that? Why are we doing things a little bit more active as opposed to just focusing on the internal side of things? Well, in Chinese martial arts, and I reference Tai Chi as a Chinese martial art because it is a style of Kung Fu. There's two different ways to progress in said system. In Kung Fu, we progress from the outside in, and Tai Chi, we progress from the inside out. So we have, sometimes it's, especially when you're younger, you have to build your outside body to understand the inside more, to get more internal, so to speak. With Tai Chi, it's quite the opposite, especially because the general Tai Chi practitioner is older in age. So we need to get the internal strong and build that up first. A, because as you're older, you have a much better understanding of it anyway. And B, the physical development from internal exercise, and meaning Tai Chi, Qigong, that's going to strengthen your body enough to handle more aggressive, I guess, more intense exercises. So it's a little bit of give and take here. So remember, with Tai Chi, we're moving from inside out. That doesn't mean we neglect one or the other, because again, Tai Chi is wrapped around the concept of yin and yang. So there needs to be a balance of inside and outside, meaning outside being, hard external exercises, inside being that internal meditative soft side. So keep that in mind as we progress. Next class, we're going to be working our legs. Hopefully the weather is okay, because I do want to take that one outside for me, because I need more space when it comes to stance work and all that. You'll see what I mean on next Tuesday. So with that said, let's close class. Please remember to practice at home, because sure, it's great that we do all of these exercises every Tuesday. But again, that's somewhere between 4 and 5 days a month, which really isn't much. So if you can add in an extra day or so throughout the week to either repeat the class or do your own thing, that's awesome. So try your best to increase the amount of practice you do. And feet together, right fist, left palm, show courtesy. Thank you all for continuing to come out to class, and I hope to see you all next Tuesday. Thank you.